Hi, it's Sandy Parker. Welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. I decided I was going to do the card that I discussed in the video on my book where I talked about how I always wanted to do this water card for you guys. I'd made it for my nephew and he got a big kick out of it, but I put way too much gel in it, and luckily it made it there okay, but it was kind of crazy with gel. So you want to start with having some fish and some coral and some seaweed and some air bubbles. And then I'm going to make a 5x7 card. So the card is 10 inches in this direction, 10 inches that way, and it's going to be 7 inches across. So when you fold it, it's 5x7. And then you do another card that's a ½ inch smaller all the way around, because this is what's going to hold our gel, for I guess is what we're going to call it. And you do it upside down versus the way you normally do it, where your card goes this way. The opening is going to be at the top. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some stamping on our white piece. And this is just a matter of making sure that our piece has enough interest going around the outside that makes you believe that you've got some water going on. So I think we're going to work with our seaweed and our coral. I'm going to open it up so you can see it. Oh, I cut this with Creative Memories cutting, what do you call it? Cutting template, I guess. And I struggled with it, so I didn't want you guys to see that because it was pretty painful to watch and it took me forever. But what are you going to do? These things happen, as you know. So let's start with the coral. And I decided what I was going to do is, rather than use my stamps on these because they're so small, I decided I would use markers on them. And that way I can really change up the colors. You know, half of it can be exactly like the picture on the front. And doing this, I don't know if you can see, but I'm using the side of my nib, not the top of it, because if you use the top on this, you'll find out really quickly that you can destroy your markers really, really fast. So it's really important that you don't do that. And this will give kind of a washed out, watery look sometimes, and I'm okay with that. Then you want to huff on it, which means you want to blow on it. And that will make the inks wake up if they've dried a little bit. So there's our first one. Looks nice. I'm not unhappy with that at all. And if you get any, hopefully I'm in frame, if you get any of the marker from one side onto the other, from one marker, excuse me, onto the other marker, all you need to do is scribble it off, and that'll take care of it, no problem. You just don't want to let it sit. Put it right there. So this was, I did this, as I said, I did it for my nephew a long time ago, and it was when I first started doing cards, and I mailed it to him, and it was hysterically funny because it was really, really thick, and I was so afraid that that thing was going to get open in the mail and that he was going to get a big bag of gel. But I don't know how, but grace of the U.S. Postal Service, it got there no problem at all, which blew my mind. I couldn't believe that it was not a problem. Now I think later on I'm going to color these this green in a little bit. I might even try doing it with my water, you know, like wetting it with a little bit of water brush and making it. I think these are Oh, anyway, back to it. I was gonna, oops, got a little, oh, I'll have to put a little more there. I would use a little water brush and then fill in the leaves of my seaweed. Is that what this is? I don't know. We're calling it seaweed. I have a little mishap right there, so we'll have to fix that. And then I'm going to do a little bit more. And then, jeepers creepers, Sandy. Thought you were really going to get better at that. No, I don't think. I think I'll put another one right there. And maybe one more at the bottom. And I could probably continue that on. The other thing I can do is I can change up the colors of my coral if I decide that I wanted to. I'm going to do a little orange and maybe a little light green. I'll tell you the names of the markers. They're from Stampin' Up, and the orange I'm using is a pumpkin pie, and the green that I'm using right now is called Gumball Green, and the pink that I used, ooh, that's cool. The pink that I used is Rose Red. The other green is Handsome Hunter, and the turquoisey color, the dark turquoisey, is taken with Teal. The paper color I'm using is also going to be taken with Teal. I like how when I changed up the colors of these coral that it made it look like it was kind of a different stamp. So that made me happy because I like it when I can change up my look a little bit. Then I think I'm going to do the same thing with my, now I'm going to change the name of it. I'm going to call it Seagrass. Doesn't that sound like it's an official name? I'm going to put some of that Gumball Green on my Seagrass. And it doesn't matter if I go on the underside, because the underside is going to be folded on the back of the card, so no one's going to see that. I like these Stampin' Up markers for this technique because they're really nice and wet, and they do a good job of holding the ink. I think that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to put my sentiment on the top, and I'm going to use that dark turquoisey for that. It just says happy birthday, and it's doing it in like swirly pattern. I thought about doing it inside where the fish are, but then I decided that might not work because my fish will take up most of the room. So we'll see if this works. Hopefully it does. Oh, that looks cute. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Okay. Now on to the tricky part. The hardest part of any project like this is always the part where you do the element that's the confusing. And for me, it's how much gel do I put in there? How much gel is enough gel? Well, the answer to that, I'm putting all my lids back on my markers if you didn't figure that out. The answer to that is I don't know for sure how much gel is enough. But what we're going to do first, oops, I'm going to get that paper out of the way. What we're going to do first, I think, is let's stamp our fish inside our card, because it'll go in here and it'll be right there, and then I'll be stamping more. I'll just stamp all of it right now. Doesn't matter what we get in the inside of our this, because this is where our gel is going to go. But we do want this part inside the oval to be okay, to be clean, whatever. This is the top because our bubbles are going up. And I'm just going to hopefully wiggle it enough to get a good impression. I'm going to hold it there. I do have a bunch of stuff underneath. it's not perfect, but it's not horrible. And I'm going to be using some yellow, and I'll just get my black marker as well, and that way we'll be sure that we can go with the whole project will be in good shape. Okay. That way, if we need to, we can always add a little bit of black onto our angelfish and make them stand out more. So let's do a little bit of our coloring on our angelfish. Now, these are little bubbles, and I'm just going to place them above the current bubbles. And then I'm going to, because I had to say and then again, I'm going to put a little bit more of the greenery into, get rid of that black because you know I'm going to end up all over me. I'm going to do a little bit of the green. These markers are nice because they have this wide line that tells you that's the wide tip and the thin line. And obviously I really looked at it right there to this side. Nope, I didn't. And I think I'm just going to place a little bit, do a green one. And another lighter green one. And another darker green one. Yeah, put one right there. Okay, so what you want to do next is you're going to get tape, tear tape, or what do you call it, score tape, whatever your tape of choice is, and you're going to put one strip along that part of the card and on this part of the card, and I'm going to put another piece right there, rip off, and another piece right here. Now this is going to hold our baggie that's going to have gel in it. I bought this tool. It's called a Smart Sealer, and I bought it specifically for projects like this. We all have a million of these bags that you get with stamp sets or any stamping product. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to cut it a little bit down size-wise. Here is the piece we're going to be using. So our plastic was a little bit long, so I cut it down. Now we're going to open it up and put some gel in. Now I like blue colored gel because it looks more like water to me, and I like it when it has a lot of these bubbles in it. This is LA Looks. I probably got it at the Dollar Tree. I'm not really certain though, but I do like it when it has all these weird little bubbles in it. Don't know how it works for hair gel, but I know that for this project it works good. Now I'm going to put the cap open inside the bag, and hopefully that will keep my bag open as well. And I'm just going to squirt that much in. I would say that's probably 2 tablespoons. That's my guess. And then I'm going to wipe off the very inside lining of it, because I want to be able to close it up and not have any gel anywhere near the edge. Boy, it smells good. It's a lovely smelling hair gel. I'm going to use my bib, and I'm going to get my card out of there because I want to make sure that I get all of this gel that's close to my edge away from the edge. So you're just going to stick something in there like that. You only really care about your immediate edge if you have one of these, because your edge needs to be clean and dry. That's probably the best I'm going to be able to do. Let me squirt this. What you do is you do this with it so that it coats the inside of your bag. And make sure that it goes all the places you want it, but not the places you don't. And obviously the places we don't is anywhere near this edge. So we're going to take our little tool, a smart sealer, and you start on one edge and you hold it down to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and then you slowly pull it across, and when it makes the seal, it also cuts it like that. So this now is sealed, but I don't totally trust that just because it just seems too good to be true, even though I've never had it open up. And what I want to do then, see how good it looks in there? Doesn't it look fabulous? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a length of Scotch tape, whoa, almost knocked that off, wrap it around this edge so it's completely covered. I just don't want to have any mishaps with it. I told you my nephews got there. I couldn't believe it did, because you should have seen. That thing was so thick, it was unbelievable. And I'm going to leave a little bit extra of my tape past the edges just to make sure that my taping is nice and secure. Okay, so then we're going to take off our, I can't remember what you call this, the paper that goes on the top of the tape. We're going to take that off. So what we're going to do is you're going to lay this so that you're sure that it's in the card and also on your taped areas, so it's nice and taped down. And then we can just run another row along the bottom and these two sides. And then our card, I think I'm going to also put a little bit of blue, burnish a little bit of blue on the, oh, I'm attached to it, on the outside of the card too, because our the paper that we're going to attach this to is a turquoisey color like the sea, and I thought it'd be pretty if we brought that color onto the other part of the card. I have this off. Okay, now tell me that isn't the coolest looking thing you ever saw. Isn't that awesome? I just think this is so much fun, and it's not hard. It's just a matter of getting that gel. Look at the little bubbles in there. Isn't that fun? Can you see that? Fabulous. Okay, so we'll just attach it to our other card, and I'm just going to do the same tear tape. I'll just do a couple pieces on the top and the bottom just to make sure it stays. And it's a lot easier than trying to come up with another adhesive. You know, with me in the glue situation, every time I try to do something with glue, it just doesn't want to play with me. Well, it does, but it doesn't want to adhere to anything besides me. Rip that piece off. Don't forget, this is the opposite of a normal card, so we're going to be putting it upside down so that the opening of it is at the top. I decided I don't think I need to make that blue, because look at how this turquoise in here really brings out the turquoise in our card. So there's our card. I hope you liked it. It's not a hard card to make, other than getting the gel in there and making sure the gel adheres and that everything is in place. It's a little bit bigger card than our normal cards. Again, it's a 5x7. But I do hope you do try it. I hope you give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and let me know if there's any other tutorials you'd like to see. So thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.